Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Tackle Productions. Today I Bancroft being joined by a couple individuals today, that being Jimmy, Nick, and like always, Fluff.
I'm not an individual.
Jimmy ain't my dad.
But I am. What up, everybody?
And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. There's buttons on the screen, below the screen. Feel free to click them. They're there for a reason. Today's matchup is Bardock Crew, which is being piloted by Jimmy, versus Turles, which is being piloted by Nick. Guys, take it away.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to do this video anymore.
So, okay, I'll start it off. So, Turles is no longer good anymore, if it was good to begin with, because its one key linchpin to the deck got banned. So, I don't know if I'm going to play this deck anymore. Like, you'll see, like, it just can't keep up.
Nick, you're lucky I don't know where you live.
Are you sad that they limited the Majin quickening to the 3 energy? Like, is that the problem?
No, I'm sad that they banned U9.
But it has nothing to do with this deck. What?
Like, that's the linchpin the deck needed.
Oh, is that your spice?
I'm sorry, everybody. Nick is colorblind. So to explain, like Bardock Crew wants to storm off very quickly. Oh, shout out to the Kai being first card of my life.
Hell yeah.
So Bardock Crew wants to storm out really quickly, do a lot of damage very fast, and usually try to end the game around turn 3 in most cases. So I knew this is a green matchup. I knew what Turles could do. I know it puts out free blockers. I know it has access to stuff like Dormant, Charismatic Villain, has access to Fruit, which is just a 1-cost 20k combo. So I knew I had to really push my damage early because I was only going to be able to get through maybe 1 or 2 damage a turn past turn 3. So I was hoping to get Nick down to around like 2 life so that I can really put pressure on them and that his combos and negates would not do much to protect him. So I have to burn the super combo just to get the Bond 3 live on my Bardock Crew, and which is fantastic. Getting this many attacks on turn 1 with one of them being a double striker is just fantastic.
Yeah. That was surprising to me because I tried the deck out first and I played it mono red. I didn't even try red green. And just being able to get that free board, guys, is huge. Like it, as you can see, it did a lot initially. So the way my turn starts is I play the SR from set 12, the Turles. What he does is he will flip a life over on play, and then when you swing with him, you can search top 5 for your deck, combo with any Turles Crusher Core. As many as you want. So if you hit all 5, you can combo all 5. So you can get a really tall guy with him, and then you get a lot of filter. And the good thing about playing this guy early on is you don't have to have the combo pieces in your hand to use the combo pieces. So when you're doing your mulligans, you can pick something a little more important, like a tech piece, a dormant if you know your matchup, or if you're playing something later down the chain, you can pick something different instead of having to have the combo pieces, which is nice.
And if I remember correctly, the 1-drop does flip a life, and I think we forgot to do that in this match.
Well, maybe. Sometimes, yeah, I'm really easy at forgetting those because it's such a weird effect, right? Like making your opponent flip a life up. Like, not really many. I think there's like one other deck that does that, so it's weird thinking about it, but it's great. Getting that knowledge about your hand or your opponent is awesome. And then with this, I do the activate battle for the Turles Crusher Core commander. I think that's his name. Where if your combo into in Turles Crusher Cores, you can play him almost like an arrival. You'll bottom deck a card, draw 2, and then he gains +5, so he's a 20k body on board. Really big for that pressure. And then it sticks until the end of your opponent's turn. So you have a 20k body just sitting there. It's going to be kind of hard for your opponent to remove pretty early in the game. And then here is one of the spice pieces I put in instead of that Beerus, is the Turles leading the core. It's the tournament promo, which it does a lot. It's a free EX evolve, so if you swing with a guy, a Turles 3 costs or less, swing with it. You can play this for free at EX evolve. It'll restand itself, so you have another attack going off. And on play, he will grab a fruit from your deck, so you're going to have a fruit pretty early on. And when you combo defensively with your guys that normally get played in rest mode, you can switch into active mode, so you can combo again, so you can keep recycling your stuff over and over again. So it does a whole lot for the deck, and as you can see, it's pretty successful.
Yeah, I was really surprised by the power of the card because I played a little bit of Turles early on when it dropped, and then I glanced at the tournament promo and I was like, oh, that seems pretty good in the list, but I don't know how good it'd be in action. But I was kind of blown away at how fantastic it was. And also, shout out to Dragon Shield for these non-glare sleeves and the massive fucking glare. Feel scammed.
they're pretty
Want my damn money back.
It
Fuck
also
you, Dragon
breaks
Shield.
down to the shop sliding in that area.
Yeah, I know. Cut that in case we get a Dragon Shield sponsorship one day. But something I wanted to comment on about flipping the life face up and how awful it is to have the Kai flipped up like that. It really tells you a lot in that, you know, you have a massive board. Kai would be fantastic to wipe the board. But I chose not to take the Kai because I am just trying to dig for more Bardock Crews to fill my board up. And I was just not seeing the cards I needed. So I think
the
that
Kai only works on turn 3, right?
Yeah, three energy, but still that gives you a lot of information there that I'm more desperate on trying to get other cards in the hand that as a gamble than putting the Kai in hand.
Yeah, and you charging the violent rays, I know you're not planning on being defensive at all. You're just trying to go in for game as much as you can, and that is huge for me because that puts me aware that you're on the back foot trying to recover, which I can just capitalize as easily as I can just because of all the value that I get off of all of my stuff.
And Violent Rays, a lot of your Turles battle cards fly under the radar there until you put the 4-drop SR, the pretty one, out on field, which buffs all of your Crusher Core. All of your Turles fly under that 20k on Violent Rays. And I also run, you can see in my life, I run King Vegeta's Imposing Presence, which is kind of just null and void because you're dropping a 20k combo for 1 energy on top of a card, so -5 does little to nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then even with I have Crusher, the Cosmic Rogue on board, my weenies get 10,000 power too, so they would still be under that 20,000. So I would still, depending on my board, I could still have potentially 2 to 3 swings just as little guys, and you'd still have to work around those.
Of course. So this is actually one of the only times I played the Gogeta the entire night, and it's fantastic. It's 20k double striker, blows up a card, and also works for bond. But I felt like all night that I'd rather just tap one for a Bardock Crew, but surprise, I didn't have a Bardock Crew in hand to actually play. Looking back on it, I probably should have picked up the Fasha to search top 5 for a Bardock Crew instead of picking up the Shigesh to get the double strike. Just so I could have a little bit healthier of a hand because I was really desperate to see my pieces. And we joked right before this recording that you're cursed, Nick, because you played this deck and enjoyed the list but did not do very well with it. And I did amazing the entire night until I sat down against you, and then I'm looking at my hand what am I doing? I'm scraping by the skin of my teeth in this matchup.
Okay.
And I think you're cursed.
Yeah, I know. When I played that deck, I went 1 and 2, and my one win was the bye. So, yeah, not great with the deck. There's some decks you like and you just can't do, and that's one of them. So I might play. I charged the fruit, which felt really weird. Because why the hell would you charge that? But I think I had one in hand, and they're so easily recyclable that it's almost pointless having it at sometimes. So I felt like in this it was better charge target than anything. And then by playing the Cosmic Rogue, all my guys are buffed now. And also when he swings, he just KOs something inherently. So he's really good for board removal. And plus he will buff himself. So he's a 15k crit inherently, but when he's played, he'll become a 25k crit. And then just putting a fruit on him is just devastating. If you're getting an attack off with him, you're going to be doing a lot. And so at this point, I'm just gonna, just push as much as I can. He it's pretty late, quote unquote, in the game right now. So I was like, I just want to get him down a little bit more, just because I wasn't able to do anything initially. So now that his board's clear, I'm free of everything. Um, I was able to get a swing off double strike with fruit from my leader, and with the leader's permanent, I picked the life, and I was feeling generous, so I let him pick the Kai.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Who,
Really
who
helped
doesn't
me
want a
out.
secret rare in their hand? Like, come on.
So we talked before this matchup on how the best strategy against Bardock Crew is try to keep cards off the field, keep that bond away from Bardock. And you did a very good job of keeping the field of getting out of hand, because there's some situations where it's like you have 3 Fashas, 3 Tora, or all your Toras, Shigesh, 1-drop Goku, your Bardocks on field, 5-drop Bardock, and it just starts spiraling out of control. Unless you have a field wipe, there's no really good way to clear the board of Bardock. But I was not seeing enough 1-drops to spam out fast enough, and I'm looking back, I probably shouldn't have charged the 1-drop Bardock of my energy, because that would have gave me a chance to be able to search top deck, and I will talk about that baby in just a moment if you're curious. But I was just not seeing them to spam out faster than you could remove, so you kept catching up every single turn, which really sucked. But that
Yeah.
baby, that is a. Or go on. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying not much else you can say.
uh, but the 1-drop baby, I've been running that as a tech option in this list. So in matchups where I'm actually able to have a board, and I can play cards like the Mercenary Tau, that if you have 3 or more battle cards, he plays for free, or the unique Shigesh, or the unique 1-drop Goku SR. The baby can Union Absorb by putting the card under it, but that the cost is just putting the card under it, not having a Machine Mutant leader. So you can do that as many times as you want on your turn. It doesn't matter what your leader is. You can just bottom a card of that and remove it from the battle area. So it's fantastic for unique cards, because you pay 1 for the baby, absorb your unique, play another unique, swing with it, absorb the unique, play another one. I played Trevor after this match and hit with his SS3 Boo deck, and I was able to swing with 3 different Mercenary Towels in 1 turn, which is just so much pressure, and it's for 1 energy.
And look, there's a secret rare.
Hey, there's the secret rare you so graciously gave me, and it wasn't a Bardock Crew like I wanted it to be.
Can we talk for a second about how that secret rare is kind of bad against Bardock's Crew? Like, it's good
Turles?
for, or yeah, sorry, against Turles, but like it's gonna let Jimmy get the field clear here. But if you were using that card defensively, usually in this matchup, the Turles player is going to swing with leader first.
Mm-hmm.
So the card's not going to do much defensively. So Jimmy's getting as much value out of this as he can.
Yeah. I was just planning on just turning it sideways and try to deal some damage with it, because a 40k body is nothing to sneeze at. And he still ended up taking that. I think you were worried about me throwing a Champa on it, which guess what? I didn't have that in hand either.
I learned my lesson.
So there was no point in playing it on the opponent's turn, because I was going to have to wait a whole nother turn to have the ability to wipe the field. And with my life total and my energy scape and my handscape, I just had to get the value out of swinging with it.
Yeah. And now it's back to me, and this board is perfect for me. Him having nothing on board, me having nothing on board, like I'm able to do so much during the battle step. And since he's already charged 2 of his negates as an aggro style player, it's going to be very unlikely that he's going to stop this attack. So I was like, I just build my board back up for nothing, and then just go back in. So for 1 energy, pretty much everything that he got rid of, I got back.
I feel like we've talked before about how against Turles, clearing their field is one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't situations. Because if you let them keep the field, there's just value to them having those blockers. There's value to them keeping those Turles cards on the field. If you clear them, they can just then use the cards in their hand. Mm-hmm. So it's bad either way.
like I knew this was going to be a very tough matchup going into it, and I knew that I was going to have to make some choices that I wouldn't normally make in a regular matchup. But I think the heart of the cards weren't with me in this particular matchup, or it would be a lot closer than it is. I mean, it looks very close because we're both at 1 life right now, but it did not feel that way playing this matchup.
Yeah, because as you could see, he spent everything just to get rid of my board, but I got everything back in the same turn.
Like it felt like Nick was in the driver's seat the entire time.
Turles is really that way as a deck from my experience. You're either always in control and you're dominating the Turles player, or they are just dominating you.
Yeah.
And appearances are very deceiving from the outside, because you have to consider the content of each player's hand. And, right there, I mean, just shows it.
Yeah, I was getting flooded with my Bardocks, which it's sometimes a good thing, but in this particular situation, it was a bad thing. Because I could have just threw the 5-drop out there and started playing for my drop area, but that's such an energy investment that he's just going to remove pretty easily. So
yeah, and especially with Turles, because it can go tall enough to where, okay, I can get rid of a 20k body with nothing.
Yeah. Like, I didn't want to invest all that in there. I would rather invest the 1-drop weenies and get as much damage through with them instead of investing into paying 1 for a Bardock or swinging with lead and dropping a Bardock, than tapping 1 to play the 5-drop on top of it. And then still worrying about counterplays and stuff from Nick. But it looked very close, but it did not feel that way playing Bardock. I felt like you could have killed me a turn before if you really pushed.
And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed the match as much as Jimmy did. Remember, as Fluff does the outro, there's things on the screen. Feel free to click them.
Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Once again, Nick pulls through with Turles. He's so good with that deck, isn't he? Green's not a good color at all. Like, did you notice they didn't really touch anything on the ban list for it? Like, they touched Majin Quickening. Like, that just tells you how bad green is, right? Read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to. And as always, fluff out.